I finally got myself a new camcorder that doesn't suck like the old one, but I still have to get a battery for the old one, and my work has certainly great deal, but I had also trouble naming this video because there is so much stuff in this video and it's very loaded, but I guess we'll get some viewing, and it has to do with the extension to the 2017 psychic predictions video I did, but this one is more analytical, and it's not has little to do with psychic. I have a lot of psychic experiences, but I shy away from putting them on because they generate a lot of hostility. Most people are geared towards reasoning or mental faculties. They don't really like stuff that comes out of the left field. But as human beings, we have really two brains: the left, which is the analytical mind, and the right, which is more like artistic. And the way the brains work, the left is like a bean counter, a accountant, and I think the functions of that we currently associated with self-awareness is located there. It's just a program that keeps track of all the other faculties, and we call self-awareness, and all the processes that goes on in the analytical mind are also available to this program of self-awareness. But what goes on in the right brain, which is the artistic, is kind of like batch processing in the old Unix. It is running in the background, and when it finishes running the program, it just gives out a batch file, and it's like every once in a while suddenly you come to a massive conclusion or epiphany. It's like you wonder, where did this come from? I mean, but it was just a result of many thought processes that go on in the artistic mind, and then it gives out the result. And it seems strange because your mind is at the present. This was something that was going on for a very long time in the back of your mind, and then there is also universal mind, where it's like a back channel to a huge server that's out there. But this is another discussion. What I wanted to cover in this video, and the title of the video is about it, is it's called political implosions, massive deflation, what else? Collapsing currencies, and very confused and pissed off populations. And let's start with the last part, the pissed off and confused populations. Is that many people hold world views that are based on past experiences, or the projection of desires that they want to see happen. And when economic systems, the political systems, or what's going on in the real world contradicts or changes in very radical ways, or has been changing gradually, and then you suddenly become aware of it through your artistic mind, it like hits you like a brick. And what happens with most people is that they try to reason what the hell happened, how things have changed so much, and they try to go back to an earlier era in their lives, in their zeitgeist, in their society, that things were not like this. They were not chaotic or fucked up, and they felt safer, and everything was going was okay. I guess we all have that la la land in the past, and we try to go back there. So I mean, this is the ostrich mind takes over, but well, you can see that happening kind of in many European countries and also in the United States. People are trying to go back to political leaders that are like the ones they had in the past, like Reagan. We got Trump now, and he's like a bad imitation of Reagan. And the Europeans are electing to go back to right-wing or even fascist leaders. But this could be also temporary, because what these people want to do will not solve things, because economically and technologically things have already changed radically, and the program that we are trying to reinstitute to bring that past back is incapable of replicating that past that we had in the 50s or 60s or 70s. Anyhow, there was a poem by the Sufi master. It goes like this: Nahale Arzura Rishikanko, which means like take the tree or the young tree of desire and uproot it by its root. You just pull it out. It's like also Buddhism talks about this. Is like we prosper at times, or have good times or happy days, and we are always trying to go back there. But the world is a place of changes, and when that becomes difficult to achieve, we experience sadness and loss. But nothing is ever lost economically or politically. We are always progressing. Technology makes every desire possible very affordably, but this mindset, the ostrich mindset, is the big problem, and it just is very hard for people to realize that the past, or the past jobs, or the past ways of making income is not coming back. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be poor. I have been growing more prosperous every year, getting more stuff. This is not very easy to see for most people, and so this leads to political implosions, because politics is economics with a lag time, and when economics, underlying economic modes of production or income, they change, the political systems that were built based on these, they also have to change, or they'll implode or explode, or they can't exist because they don't correspond to the reality, the economic reality. And this is basics of these ideas that I'm presenting to you. And we'll go into them in a more expanded way later on in the video. But another idea that I really look at and I studied quantum physics, nuclear physics, and also banking, interest rates, and the phenomena that is very interesting is economic or production modes or physical processes that are the beginnings of chain reactions, like processes that progress or diminish in a logarithmic fashion, like the interest rate or nuclear chain reactions or economic chain reactions like prices of commodities or energy collapsing and then it cascading into many other areas. Okay, so the beginning of this discussion, I would like to narrate something that happened. I was in the laundry and I was reading this newspaper that somebody had left behind, and there was an article, even though they had dedicated a page to it, but it wasn't the front page news. It was like kind of in the middle, and it was talking about that many counties and many cities in California and other places, they were building all these water purification plants all over the place. In fact, he was saying that there is 18,000 reverse osmosis plants in the world, and then he was saying that the amount of water that would be generated is pretty substantial, like 8 or 10% of big cities like San Diego or Huntington Beach water will be generated by reverse osmosis. And what was interesting about it was that it went into a discussion about the cost of producing an acre of water or so many gallons of water based on the cost of energy, and that because the costs have been comparable to importing the water, it costs us a little bit more to 30%, 20%, whatever, more to purify the water from the ocean water than from by importing it and pumping it from out of the state. So this was a consideration, but this is like the second ladder to a chain reaction, okay, that I am seeing. The first ladder of this chain reaction is the fact that in the last 10-20 years, many banks and central banks they have been making credit very easy, and many countries, many companies, they have got into digging for oil, and also the cost of producing energy from wind and solar is collapsing. Okay, this is just like physical process, like a nuclear reaction, where like one plutonium atom breaks and there is an extra neutron that flies off, and this extra neutron hits other plutonium atoms, and boom, there's two, and then 2 becomes 4, and 4 becomes 8, and 8 becomes 16, and 16 becomes 32, and 32 becomes 64, and 64 becomes 128, and 128 becomes 256. This is a logarithmic progression. Okay, so when the banks and the Federal Reserve and many credit companies made credit available to many energy producers, and also when the cost of solar and wind collapsed, the cost of producing energy collapsed. Okay, this is just like the extra neutron, and many forms of manufacturing many forms of producing food and agricultural products are extremely dependent on energy production and the cost of energy. So what I am saying is that imagine that there is the great collapse in the cost of electricity and cost of fuel, okay? And this will cascade into a great collapse in the price of food production, agricultural products. Then it will cascade. Also, it will cascade into a great collapse in the mining costs, because you have to use a lot of fuel to dig out the many minerals and all that, and process them. Okay, so this is just like the 4 neutrons that are now out there, and so you can see that the cost of commodities, okay, and by the word commodities, I mean any type of mineral or agricultural products, any kind of energy, any kind of manufacturing, processing, making cement, making whatever. This has been collapsing. These prices, they have been collapsing. The oil price has been collapsing. Okay, and the other thing that this discussion entails is that once a chain reaction starts, okay, it is kind of impossible to stop this chain reaction, because, okay, say there is 4 neutrons there and they have energies and they're going around, okay, you really need a lot of very specialized equipment to prevent these 4 neutrons from hitting other plutonium. You need a protective gear. You need to shield the other plutonium atoms from receiving these other neutrons. So, for example, if you are limited by the space around so many molecules, so many atoms, then you can shield an area, but the temperature in that area will rise, and you have to also do heat transfer to cool it down. So what I'm saying is that the prices of commodities have collapsed to a certain extent. The price of oil and energy has collapsed to a certain extent, but this doesn't mean things are going to go back in any shape and form. But because there is now all these credit and money and resources are now available to more companies, and they're gonna reinvest and make more. It's like what the economists have studied has called the race to the bottom. Okay, the more things become cheaper, okay, the more the existing companies will produce to make the same money, and also more companies will get into it because there still is a margin. Okay, so this chain reaction will kick in and will take this product cycle of, and this, by this I mean anything, is almost to zero price. Okay, so the prices of iron ore is gonna just keep sinking every year and year until it gets to values that are extremely low, almost close to zero, and only you have to produce a massive amount. So this collapse in prices of commodities and energy is like the beginning, is like another industrial revolution. It will usher all kinds of new technology. For example, I could just envision one, that many more plants for purifying water from ocean will spring up everywhere, because the cost of energy has collapsed, and now the water price can compete with importing water or digging wells and all that. I mean, so exotic technologies that are extremely energy intensive will just come in. For example, say you want to do something very stupid in mining. You want to mine silver ions. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. The silver ions out of ocean water. Okay, you need millions of gallons of ocean water. If you have a very strange process, energy intensive, to go pick out these ions out of the ocean water. Okay, this process is not possible because you got a tremendous amount of cheap energy that you can do this with. Okay, so now when a chain reaction takes place, it also has a devastating effect on other things that are going on. For example, in a physical process, it can become like a nuclear bomb. Okay, in banking, the collapsing interest rates can put banks out of business because it just it not only cascades but has a lot of side effects. Okay, so imagine that you grew up in the 1960s, 1970s, and there were all these shops. They were selling products, and they were very good retail price, and everybody was making money. Then we are here now, and the prices, production, and getting these items have become extremely cheap. So, for example, nobody with a very mediocre income like me gets on the eBay and buys shitload of anything retail that he was ever buying before. I mean, the only thing that I'm not buying retail off of eBay is like I'm not buying girlfriends off of eBay. Okay, this is the only item that's left, right? Or precious metals. Okay, so this means that there is the way that the little guys, that means anybody that's in the real economy makes money, okay, or sustains themselves, has changed drastically. Has become like, you know, if you were working in a retail shop or manufacturing, and the cost of manufacturing and mode of production has drastically changed, then you are in deep trouble, because the way you were making money has evaporated, and that's why there is a lot of job losses, because the economic processes that were there, and many people rely on them, and the real economy has drastically changed. And people are extremely confused, and they don't know what to do with this. Okay, so I mean, money is a construct of society. Okay, it's the money that we have right now, the fiat money, it is totally socialist creation, because the governments or central banks, they create this money. Okay, so it cannot be distributed the same old model of production, which is capitalist production. It has to be distributed the other way. Otherwise, we are all in the street. Okay, that's going to become very apparent. But what happens when the underlying economy and underlying processes that the society depends on, or anybody depends on, they evaporate, or they are completely radically changed? First of all, there is a lot of confusion, and then the institutions that were built on these processes, they go bust. This has happened in 2008, and it's going to happen again soon. So, this is just the changes that are happening to the institutions and the bourgeoisie does not need to translate into suffering for the ordinary person. All you have to do is realize that the distribution of initial money has to be public and has to be given to the public for what the public does, or according to public contract, or the contract that society has with itself, with its members, to allow public participation and democracy and economic democracy. So basically, the old system has died. Okay, it's going to take a little while for people to figure out, hey, this stuff is bad. It doesn't work, and there is a period of a lot of pain, and then you have to do things in this other way. But all the underlying resources that technology and deflation provides, they're there. They haven't gone away, and they're readily reproducible. So yeah, there will be pain, political implosions, assassination of existing politicians, collapse of currencies, and yeah, but so what? If bread is cheap and will be much cheaper later on, or free, and the circus is well, that would be the internet for us, is available for free, who cares? It's just a transition period, and we're just going to go through it. And the transition period, the only problem is that a lot of people will be very extremely confused and extremely pissed, because the wealth that they had generated in the past system is just going to evaporate, and you have to replace it with something else. So this tree of desire itself is the poisonous tree, and just don't eat from the fruit of the poisonous tree. And let the nature organically provide you with something different. So I covered deflation. That means the deflation is a fact and a process that's not going to go away. Okay. Okay. To some extent, deflation is not going to hit precious metals, but there is another process going on that helps deflation, and that's automation, artificial intelligence, and technological advances, nanotechnology. Oh, we don't know if, like, a couple of years down the road, some company comes up with nanobots and unleashes zillions of them on gold mine sites, and they go in and dig out like 1 trillion ton of gold, or 1 trillion ton of silver. I mean, yeah, precious metals are valuable now with what's going on now, but you're looking at a chain reaction that have begun by a collapse in commodity prices, and you don't know where chain reactions end up. I mean, when you look at the nuclear bomb, things happen very fast and it has devastating effects. In fact, there is so many side effects: radiation and the thermal What I think we're gonna face is going to be a massive future shock. And on the side of the political implosion, I think that the Trump presidency and all these right-wing leaders that are going to come on in Europe, they're not going to be able to change things or take society back into the past. It's just a transition period, and they could also be toppled too, violently. I mean, in the other video, I told my audience that I think the future of the United States is like what happened in the series Lost. Is sudden violent political changes, and then in Europe they're going to elect all these right-wing leaders, and they're not going to be able to change things, and then there will be more violence there. Okay, so on the side of the political implosions, I think the European Union is going to fall apart, but the price of euro might totally collapse. But then the Germans and many banks profit from euro, so they might keep 2 euros, one for the Germans, German mark that's not is really a euro with the for Germany only written on it, and then the euro currency for all the other poorer European countries that will try to stay because they benefit somehow. But the main European countries like Italy, France, Britain's already out. They'll get out, and then will be left with Germany. If the Germans get out too, there is still a very faint hope that the European Union and Euro will remain as a very weak currency that it might become like a commonwealth that the poorer European countries adhere to. I don't know. It's like an older gentleman have a serious heart attack, and afterwards he's mostly paralyzed. But we'll go over this later on and have other videos. Thank you very much.